I never thought my wife would betray my trust. For 7 years, Sarah and I had what I believed was a perfect marriage. We shared our dreams, our plans, and our future. We worked hard, saved money, and talked constantly about buying our dream home someday. Every month, we deposited money into our joint savings account. It wasn't just a bank account. It represented years of sacrifice, late nights, and careful planning. One evening after dinner, I was reviewing our finances. It was something I did every few weeks just to make sure everything was on track. As I scrolled through the transactions, one entry immediately caught my attention. A withdrawal. $50,000. First, I thought it had to be a mistake. Maybe the bank had made an error. Maybe someone had hacked our account. There was no way that amount of money could disappear without me knowing about it. I called the bank the next morning. After verifying my information, the representative reviewed the transaction and told me something I wasn't prepared to hear. The withdrawal was completely legitimate. It had been authorized using Sarah's credentials. I thanked the representative, hung up the phone, and just sat there in silence. My mind was racing. Why would my wife take $50,000 without telling me? Where did the money go? For the next several days, I didn't say anything. I wanted to understand what was happening before confronting her. That's when I started noticing changes in her behavior. She spent more time on her phone than usual. Whenever I entered the room, she'd quickly lock the screen. She started taking calls outside. Sometimes she'd leave the house late at night and come back hours later. Every time I asked where she had been, she gave short, vague answers. The uncertainty was driving me crazy. My imagination filled in the blanks with the worst possible scenarios. Was she having an affair? Was she planning to leave me? Had she gotten involved in something illegal? Every possibility felt terrible. Every day, I felt more distant from the woman I thought I knew. About a week later, I came home unexpectedly early. Sarah wasn't there. Her laptop was open on the dining room table. I stared at it for several minutes. I knew looking through it would be a violation of her privacy, but I also felt like my entire marriage was falling apart, and I needed answers. Finally, I opened the laptop and began looking through recent emails. What I found shocked me. There were dozens of messages from hospitals, medical specialists, treatment centers, and insurance companies. I clicked through email after email, trying to understand what I was seeing. Then I found the answer. Sarah's younger brother, Michael, had been diagnosed with a serious medical condition nearly a year earlier. The treatment he needed was expensive. Much more expensive than his insurance would cover. For months, Sarah had been secretly helping him pay for appointments, medications, and procedures. She had been carrying the burden completely alone. As I continued reading, I discovered that Michael's condition had recently become much worse. Doctors had recommended an emergency treatment that needed to begin immediately. The cost was enormous, and the hospital required payment upfront. Faced with losing her brother, Sarah made a decision. She withdrew $50,000 from our savings account and paid for the treatment. That evening when she came home, I told her what I knew. The moment I mentioned Michael's name, tears filled her eyes. She sat down and told me everything. She explained how scared she had been. She explained that she wanted to tell me many times but couldn't bring herself to do it. She knew how much that money meant to both of us. She knew it represented our future home and years of hard work. Then she said something I'll never forget. She told me that she knew if I found out about Michael's situation, I would insist on giving him the money immediately. She knew I would sacrifice our dream without hesitation. She didn't want me to have to make that choice. She thought she could handle everything herself. She thought she could protect both her brother and our future at the same time. Listening to her, I felt a mix of emotions. I was hurt that she hadn't trusted me enough to tell me the truth. I was angry that she made such a huge decision without discussing it with me. But at the same time, I could see the pain she had been carrying. For months she had lived with fear, stress, and guilt, all while trying to protect the people she loved. The next day we visited Michael together. Seeing him lying in a hospital bed changed my perspective completely. He looked exhausted, weak, fragile. Yet when he saw Sarah, his face lit up with gratitude. In that moment I realized something important. The money wasn't gone because of selfishness. It wasn't wasted. It had been used to save a life. Over the following months Michael slowly recovered. His health improved, and eventually he was able to return to a normal life. Sarah and I also began rebuilding what had been damaged. Not just our savings account but our communication and trust. We had difficult conversations. We talked about honesty, fear, and the importance of facing problems together instead of alone. It wasn't easy. Trust doesn't heal overnight. But little by little things got better. 2 years later, we finally achieved the goal we had been working toward for so long. We bought our dream home. Standing in the empty living room on the day we got the keys, I thought about everything that had happened. The missing money, the secrets, the fear, the arguments, and ultimately the forgiveness. Looking back now, I still wish Sarah had told me the truth from the beginning. I believe marriage should be built on honesty, but I also understand why she did what she did. She wasn't trying to hurt me. She wasn't trying to deceive me for personal gain. She was trying to save her brother while protecting our future. Sometimes the people we love make mistakes for reasons that come from love itself. Those mistakes can still hurt. They can still break trust. But understanding the reason behind them can change everything. In the end, I learned that relationships aren't tested when everything is going well. They're tested when life becomes messy, painful, and complicated. That's when you find out whether two people can survive difficult choices together. And fortunately for us, we did.